Welcome back to LIVENODING. This episode I want to share with you how I created this tunnel, like a half donut tunnel once again. This was created using the new arc node. So with arc node you can easily create an arc. So this is quite a new node, and of course you can kind of make it 360 degree angle as well. But for this, it's just like a normal arc. You can connect the center, and you have this like a bubble kind of playground. But yeah, the setup looks a little bit more complicated than you might think, but it's not that bad. Originally, I created this like this. So we have arc, of course, 180 degrees. You can control the resolutions, which is pretty handy. And of course I transform the arc a little bit at like 90 degrees so it's standing, and I have a curved circle just to turn it into a solid. Otherwise it's just gonna be a curve. Okay, so but from this of course you can pipe the resolutions and radius outside, and then so you can have like a multiple copy, and then you can maybe like use sphere chalk, control the radius if you want to do this type of thing, right? This should be okay, and you can end up with multiple objects. But if I want to turn this into I want to make it so geometry nodes can do the instancing inside itself, it's possible simply by working on the curve and instancing beforehand. So here we have an example. This is the final result. If I switch to this, it's gonna be black color. I think it's a bug, but anyway, it's still Blender 3.1 alpha. You can see this is the setup at the moment. The only one caveat is the shader is based it's really dependent on the space. The color is based on the objects transform. That's need to be fixed, but for now it's okay. We have basically a mesh line with the count, how many arc, how many half donut you want to have. I'm setting this to endpoints so we can control the endpoints. Okay, so that's really handy. And then I'm using the mesh line points to instance the arc, the half donut itself. Half donut itself, just the arc, and that's been rotated 90 degrees. And I can control the resolutions from here. Okay, so that's also pretty handy. I set the number pretty high, so it can be flat on the ground, more or less. Make it 100, and then I resample the curve, evaluate it, and instance this as a curve itself. So, and I have a bit of control here using the index value, and this is to get the total number of the instance from this domain. We can then control the minimum and maximum scaling, just in case you want to create this type of design, which looks like the one at Apple Park. So scale instances, and I realize the instances, and after I realize the instances, it's becoming this solid. This guy can go, if I just pipe this, we just gonna get a curve. But if we use the curve circle and then use the curve to mesh, we're gonna turn it into a solid, which is what we want. As for the material itself, okay, I set this material, and let's take a look. The shader is very simple, just this geometry using its position separated in XYZ, and just look at the Y value and then just map it into the new, just map the positions into a range of 0 to 1, pipe this into gradient texture, I think. Yeah, and just use a color ramp to control the color. It might not be, I think the shader could have a little bit more work, but more or less it's the plan. If you want this to be like a rainbow color, you can use HSV and use the color clockwise. Yeah, I think this is pretty much, yep. Yeah, okay, we have something that looks like a kind of at Apple Park. Rainbow, okay, we can control the radius, right, and we can control minimum, maximum. If you set this to the same value, it's become like a tunnel. And of course we have the caveat, remember, the color stays on the spot, but that can be fixed. I'm pretty sure that can be fixed in the shader. But that's basically the whole setup. Yeah, it's pretty easy now, thanks to the arc node. The arc node, of course, can do a lot more, but for now this is one example. Or you can also invert the arc. You can control the start and end angle. You can sweep. You can use these to make like a Pac-Man. You can use this arc node. Just a quick one to show you. Okay, this is the Pac-Man setup. I have solidify and remesh. That's why we have this kind of like a pixelated look. But the arc node is really handy. This is one example of use of the arc node. But yeah, Pac-Man and this rainbow. Alright, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.